All right, it's 7 o'clock. Thank you for being here tonight. I now call the August 9th, 2021 regular or special meeting of the City Council to order. Mrs. Hoffman, can you please take roll?
Ms. Elmore? Present. Mr. Cahill?
Present.
Ms. Kyle?
Here.
Mr. Skidmore?
Here.
Mr. Hermes?
Here.
Mr. Meyer?
Present.
Ms. Skidmore?
Here.
Ms. Nicely?
Present.
Mr. Nipper?
Here.
Ms. Reckers?
Here.
Ms. Jasper Lucas?
Here.
Thank you, Mrs. Hoffman. First on our discussion is council vacancy and applicants. Mrs. Reckers?
I'd like to motion to adopt the following procedure for tonight. Each candidate shall be afforded 4 minutes to speak to council. At the conclusion of the candidate speeches, city council members will vote on paper ballots provided by the city clerk. Council will select 2 names from the ballot and provide ballots to the city clerk. The city clerk shall tabulate the ballots and provide the top 2 candidate names, and 3 should there be a tie. City clerk will provide a second paper ballot, and council members will vote for 1 candidate. City clerk will tabulate those votes, and the candidate must be selected by a simple majority. Once the candidate is selected, council will follow standard legislative procedures for adopting municipal orders.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Kyle?
Just a question.
Sure.
Did you say vote for 2 people on the first ballot? What if we don't? What if people don't?
I don't think it matters. I mean,
Won't matter?
it ultimately won't matter. It's
Just
more,
curious.
it's the closest thing to rank voting.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. So we'll move forward with the procedures that were stated by Mrs. Reckers. So the applicants will have 4 minutes to come to the podium. We have the microphone on already. So the first candidate that is on the list is Mr. Frank Wickman. And Emmy is going to be our timekeeper, so she'll be able to give you a 1 minute, when you have 1 minute left and 30 seconds left, and then a 0 seconds. That means you're done. All right, so come on up to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a long walk up here just to say I don't need 4 minutes. I've provided pretty much everything I wanted to say in my application. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay.
Apparently none.
Thank you, Mr. Wickman. All right, next is Mr. Stephen Doan.
Good evening. I want to start out by thanking City Council for conducting this search in a fair and transparent way, where everyone has an opportunity to say something in front of Council. And this also, I believe, dignifies the memory and legacy of Ms. Cahill. I want to serve on Erlanger City Council because I want to give back to the community that's given so much to me. I attended elementary school, Miles Elementary, Tishner Middle School, and Lloyd High School here for my entire K-12 education. I also attended Erlanger Baptist Church, where I was deeply involved in the youth group and became a leader. After I graduated from Lloyd High School in 2005, I attended Northern Kentucky University, where I was a double major in business administration and economics. I then attended Salmon P. Chase College of Law and graduated with a Juris Doctor in 2012. I began my legal career representing police officers charged in excessive force civil rights cases in Covington, Kentucky. To this day, I've maintained strong relationships with police officers and a number of law enforcement agencies in Northern Kentucky. Our first responders are the backbone of safety in our community, and the Erlanger Police Department, I believe, does more than its fair share to protect and serve Northern Kentucky. In 2016, I accepted an appointment for General Counsel of the Governor's Office of Agricultural Policy under Governor Matt Bevin. As General Counsel for the Governor's Office of Agricultural Policy, I oversaw an $81 million revolving loan fund and a $40 million grant fund. Essentially, my job was economic development. I served as the attorney for the Agricultural Development Board and the Agricultural Finance Corporation. In those roles, I worked directly with farmers and agribusinesses from around the state to find new and expanding markets so that we could not only benefit our state, but we could also find new jobs for people out there. I also worked with the Cabinet for Economic Development to provide incentive packages to attract new businesses here to Kentucky. I currently have my own law firm. I practice in the areas of family law, real estate law, personal injury, and estate planning. For my practice, I understand the basic needs and struggles that our residents face, and I understand the mental health issues in our community and the impact our city government has on small businesses that we all depend on. Over the last 34 years, I've watched how this city has changed, how it's grown, how it's expanded. But I've also noticed how the city has stayed the same in many ways. It's still safe. It's still a great place to raise a family. On council, I'll be transparent. I'll hold the city accountable, and I'll hold the city accountable to the people of Erlanger. It's always been my belief that government should exist to serve the people, not the other way around. It's a great time to live in Erlanger, but if 2020 taught us anything, it's that everything can change in an instant. I hope to help you all shoulder the burden of leading this city and our community while facing down the unknown challenges we will encounter. I'm proud of the makeup of our council. We have a group of proactive leaders. If appointed, I hope to work with each one of you on an individual basis to address the issues facing our community. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today, and I hope you will allow me to fill the vacancy on City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Doan. Okay. Next is Mr. Tyler Lincoln.
Hello, my name is Tyler Lincoln. First, I would like to acknowledge how difficult I'm sure the decision has been for all of you with the recent passing of Kathy Cahill. I know she served 4 terms as holding this seat, and I know the decision must be difficult. With that said, I would like to speak tonight as to why I believe I would be a good candidate to hold a city council seat. To begin, I'd like to explain a little bit about who I am. I was born here in Erlanger. I grew up in Spring Valley until my parents' divorce, where we moved away. I then graduated Simon Kitten High School and then attended University of Louisville for 8 years, where I graduated with my degree in dentistry. After graduating, my wife and I decided to move back home. So we built a house in the Sherborne community, roughly a mile from the house I grew up in. Growing up in Spring Valley, my father was a volunteer fireman for 11 years at Station 3. I can't count the number of times I saw that pager go off, him drop everything he was doing, and rush to the station. I saw my father helping people every single day, and I would love the opportunity to do the same. I learned from him the pride you should take in your city in helping people, and that the reward public service brings with it. Now that I am back where I grew up, I would love to help anyway. I don't see myself climbing ladders and putting out fires like my father, but I do believe city council would be a perfect fit for me. I would know as a council member, I would put in as much time as needed and help the city any way that I was available. As a city council member, I would represent both somebody who grew up in this area as well as somebody who is just now starting out their family. My wife and I just recently had our first child last year and expecting our second in December. So growing families in the community, I would be able to represent very well, as well as people who grew up here. My wife is currently a teacher at Turkey Foot Middle, and I treat patients every day from the area. So I hear concerns people have about the city, things that are going on, and I know that I wish there was a way I could help them in a bigger way. There is the concern for growth in the city, as was previously mentioned, and I have seen the city grow tremendously since just the 8 years I was gone. I would love to be able to be a big help of that. I'm sorry, I know 4 minutes is a lot. I can never fill that in much amount of time, but I would be an honor to be considered a candidate for this position, and I hope that you consider me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lincoln. All right, Mr. Michael Bianchi.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you in this kind of alternate format to doing things. So the name's Bianchi. Like when you sing, you want to be on key. I get asked that a lot. So in my resume cover letter, I mentioned kind of 3 or 4 factors that I think I bring. Knowledge, skills, and abilities is kind of overused, but it applies, and I kind of threw in intangibles. And I think the theme through across that I'd like to bring is balance. For instance, institutional knowledge. I've seen the city from a kid who didn't care growing up here because I didn't know, to a civilian dispatcher, police officer, retired as a lieutenant, and now spent 8 years in the private business and still engaged and cared about council. So understanding things is important, but also being willing to change is important. I think that's a balance, right? Just because we've always done it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be critically analyzed and change it. This process is that, right? Somebody said, let's do it a little differently. So skills are something, I've just been a lifelong learner. I still consider myself that. In the private world here, actually at Heritage Bank Center, bank across the street sponsors me, helped me stay paid through COVID. I've just learned more and to focus back on the community, and I guess what I'm saying is every step of my life I've applied the past to the next. I would like to serve the citizens again through that type of process here. And I think most of you know me or know of me. I'd just be happy to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bianchi. Okay, Mrs. Renee Williams.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, council members, friends, and neighbors of Erlanger. First, I'd like to give my condolences for the passing of Councilwoman Cahill. And she was a fine council person, and we are going to truly miss her. My name is Renee Wilson. I am family to some and a friendly neighbor to others. I have brilliant student leaders in our schools and at NKU. I've served in various Kentucky communities for over 40 years as a cheerleading coach, Girl Scout volunteer, Boy Scout den mother, church deaconess, secretary, and on and on and on. And I like to work in the community. I've worked also as a missionary, helping thousands in the community with food, clothing, shelter, education, resource information, and encouragement. When God blessed me with a place in Erlanger over 10 years ago, I knew I was at home. I am a mentor and mother figure to our youth. I volunteer at the Erlanger Ellesmere Schools Block Party and volunteered during the Historical Society's Erlanger Heritage Day celebration. I've established friendships with our Erlanger neighbors, and I look after our elders. I also enjoy serving on our Erlanger Race Relations and Diversity Task Force, led by Councilwoman Jasper Lucas. Congratulations. I do mission work to meet the needs of our community, and when I see a problem in our community, I do what I can do to find a solution. The safety and well-being of our residents is important to me, which is why I will partner with the police, the council, the fire and EMS, and I will also be in favor of safe transportation to and from school for our students. I love to assist, and I am easy to get along with. I listen, and I love helping everyone. I retired from the City of Louisville Law Department and have experience working in the mayor's office. I'm a hard worker who has also served as an election poll worker for over 25 years, 10 of which here in the city of Erlanger. I have a great relationship with our county clerk, Gabrielle Summey, and I work across the aisle to get things done. I don't see parties, I see people. I am very interested in working with the city council and help connect with underserved populations like our faith-based friends, communities of color, our youth, economically challenged population that I serve, our elder community that I visit and help, and our community members struggling with disabilities. I am vested in our city of Erlanger and excited to continue serving, hopefully with you as a council member. I humbly ask for your vote, serving as a loving leader in the Friendship City is what I'll do. Vote Renee Wilson. I am here for our community. I am here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Okay, Mr. Brian Durrett.
I wanted to remove my name from there. I just came tonight to
Okay, thank you. Miss Emily Sayers.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Emily Sayers. I've lived in Erlanger for the last 7 years, but my husband's family has, oh my gosh, I was like, that flew. Sorry. No, my husband's family has lived here for decades. I'm the newbie, but they have been proud members of this community for decades and decades. I'm married to my wonderful husband, Matthew. We have a beautiful son and 2 wonderful, very fluffy standard poodles. Our family's been a part of the Erlanger community for decades, as I said, and we love it. We absolutely love it. To echo the sentiment of many of the other candidates, it's a wonderful place to raise a family, and it's a wonderful place to be. And I want to give back to the city that I call home. As you can see on my resume, I've had the privilege to work for Gateway Community and Technical College for the last several years in the Workforce Solutions Division, helping businesses and individuals navigate the very amazing yet very complicated workforce ecosystem that is Northern Kentucky. And it has been my honor, my pleasure to work with the Chamber, to work with the Kentucky Career Center, and to work with many, many individuals to help find opportunities and to help their businesses grow. I hope to bring awareness and connection to all of the amazing groups and services that exist in our community. I want to help Erlanger thrive. I believe that small cities are the heart and the soul of our country, and it's where community is created. We need to remove barriers by removing barriers for individuals in our communities, that's how we will all thrive. I've been so encouraged by the amount of events and the amount of transparency I have seen in the city for the last several years. Credit to all of you. I would love a hand in helping to continue all of the fine work that you have done, an increase in transparency and communication. Last year has been hard. We all know that. We're all still going through it. But I think we need community now more than ever, and I would like to help support that mission. I'd like to close tonight by saying that my goals are three. I would like to continue to create more transparency. I want to increase walkability in this community, and I want to create more partnerships, both public and private, to help support all different kinds of social initiatives that are bubbling up in my head at the moment. I hope to bring a unique and enthusiastic perspective. And from both my personal and professional experience, I ask for your vote tonight, and I thank you for the opportunity for speaking with you.
Thank you, Ms. Sayers. All right, that concludes all the candidates for this evening. We have ballots. I think Emmy's taken the time to mark off Mr. Durrett, and then she'll pass out the ballots. As stated by Mrs. Reckers, yes?
Oh, no, Mayor, I was just gonna, I know we did have an additional person that was in our packet. I just wanted to make sure we recorded in the minutes that they did withdraw. That was Mr. Kimmick. He did withdraw before the evening started, so.
That is correct. Mr. Kimmick withdrew around noonish today, I believe. So Emmy's passing out the ballots. As Ms. Reckers had stated, you just select two and then pass them into Mrs. Hoffman, and she will tally them up. Ms. Kyle?
I just want to say, everybody here tonight, you've really impressed me. And if you don't win tonight, please run in the next election, because I think you'd all do a good job. I was really impressed. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Ms. Kyle, for saying that. I agree.
Okay, the names of the two people that received the most votes is Stephen Doan and Renee Wilson.
Okay, so now Emmy is making up the new ballots for the second round of voting. And on this one, as Mrs. Recker said, it will be only one vote. Okay.
The person who had the most votes is Stephen Doan.
Congratulations, Mr. Doan, and thank you, everybody that participated. I think this was a really great idea by Mrs. Reckers, very full of transparency. It was a very different procedure, and I think it worked very nicely. And like Mrs. Kyle said, you all did a fantastic job, and I hope that you run for council and be a part of what we've got going on here, because it's so wonderful and it's so much fun. So thank you. All right, so next on the agenda is the oath of office for Mr. Doan.
No, we got to do the municipal order and,
Scratch that. Okay, municipal order.
right. So this is a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, declaring a vacancy in the membership of the Erlanger City Council and appointing Steve Doan as a member of the Erlanger City Council for the unexpired term of Kathy Cahill. This will require a motion and vote.
Okay. Do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Mrs. Reckers and Mrs. Jasper Lucas. All right. Any discussion? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carried. Now it's time for the oath of office. All right. Raise your right hand. Right? Okay, and you just state your, yes, you should. All right, so just state your name after I say it. I
Stephen Doan,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the office of City Council Member according to law. And I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have I sent a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help me God.
I do.
Great, wonderful. All right, do I entertain a motion that we adjourn? Mrs. Kyle, Mrs. Elmore, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Have a good evening.